You're not ready. Not because you're stupid, not because you're weak, but because nobody told you that survival isn't decided in week 2 when the food runs out. It's decided in the first 60 minutes, that 1 hour when everything shifts, when the emergency alert freezes mid-sentence, when your neighbor starts loading his car with everything he owns, when the traffic outside goes from normal to never-ending in under 20 minutes. That moment, right there, that's when it's already too late to think. So you need to think now. Here's the brutal truth nobody in the prepper community wants to admit. Most survival plans fail not because of bad supplies. They fail because of bad positioning. You can have 6 months of food and die in week 1 because you're in the wrong location, surrounded by the wrong people, making the wrong decisions under panic. Position beats preparation every single time. So today, I'm giving you a 60-minute positioning protocol. Not theory, not fantasy, a real executable sequence for the first hour when everything breaks. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly where to go, in what order, and why. While everyone else is stuck in traffic, burning their last tank of gas, chasing imaginary safety, you'll already be set up, locked in, and invisible. Let's run the clock. Minute 0 to 10, the decision window. The first 10 minutes are the most dangerous, not because of the threat itself, because of other people's reactions to the threat. This is when panic spreads faster than any virus. This is when your neighbor makes a decision that blocks your driveway, when the gas station line becomes a fistfight, when social order starts cracking at the edges. Your only job in these 10 minutes is to not react. Observe, assess, confirm. Ask yourself 3 questions. Is this local or regional? Is it getting worse or stabilizing? And are authorities still functional or already gone? Your answers determine your next move. If it's local and stabilizing, you shelter in place. If it's regional and collapsing, you execute your position plan. Most people skip this step entirely. They see one car speeding down the street and their lizard brain takes over. Don't let that happen. Calm is your first tactical advantage. Minute 10 to 25, the grab and go. You already know what you need. If you don't, I'll make it simple. Water for 72 hours, calories that don't require cooking, a light source, a communication device, a defensive tool if legal in your area, documentation. That's it. That's the list. You are not packing for 2 weeks. You are packing for movement. Heavy bags get people killed because they slow you down, they attract attention, and they exhaust you before you reach your position. 1 bag, 15 minutes maximum. If it doesn't fit in that time, it doesn't go. While you're packing, your phone is working for you. Check every local source simultaneously. Traffic apps show you which roads are already dead. Local social media shows you where crowds are forming. Emergency alerts tell you which areas to avoid. You're building a map in your head before you take a single step outside. Minute 25 to 45, the movement phase. Here is the single most important rule of collapse movement. Never go where everyone else is going. Sounds obvious, almost nobody follows it, because where everyone is going feels safe. The highway feels safe because 1,000 cars are on it. The big box store feels safe because it has food. The community center feels safe because it has authority figures. All 3 of those are traps. The highway is a parking lot within the hour. The store is a war zone within 2. The community center is overwhelmed and under-resourced within 6. You want secondary roads, quiet routes, the path that adds 10 minutes to your travel time but keeps you completely off the main stampede lines. Move like you belong wherever you are, confident, purposeful, calm. Panic on your face is an invitation for problems you don't want. And move towards structure, not toward people. Minute 45 to 60, the position lock. You have arrived. Now you secure. The ideal position has 4 things: defensible entry points, alternative exit routes, access to water, and low visibility from street level. You are not looking for comfort, you are looking for leverage, the ability to see without being seen, the ability to hold a position without expending energy defending it constantly. In a previous video, I covered the 5 specific location types that become fortresses the moment evacuation orders drop. Storage facilities, breweries, university science buildings, industrial infrastructure, agricultural processing plants. Any one of these gives you the structural advantage you need. Pick the one closest to your position, map it before you need it, know the access points, the floors, the water sources, the exit routes. Because in minute 45, you don't have time to assess, you execute. Lock your position, go quiet, Let the chaos outside burn itself out. After hour 1, the silence dividend. Here's what happens in hour 2 and 3 that nobody talks about. The noise peaks and then it drops. The first wave of panic burns itself out faster than you think. The people who ran without a plan run out of gas, literally and figuratively. The looters hit the obvious targets and move on. The crowds thin out because crowds are exhausting, and humans are fundamentally lazy under stress. And in that silence, that strange post-stampede quiet, something extraordinary happens. The city sorts itself. The people who ran on pure emotion are now stranded on highways, fighting in parking lots, exhausted in locations that can't sustain them. And you're sitting in a position you chose deliberately, with resources you assessed in advance, in a structure that was engineered to be exactly what you needed to be. This is the silence dividend, the return on the investment of calm thinking you made before everything broke. You use this window to do 3 things. First, you assess your resource inventory, not what you brought, what's already there. Because every location I've described to you has existing infrastructure, existing supplies, existing systems that most survivors never think to look for. The storage facility has electrical wiring, the brewery has grain and filtration, the university science building has communication equipment and backup power. Stop thinking about what you carried in and start thinking about what the building already contains.
Second, you establish your perimeter awareness. You are not trying to defend everything. You are trying to know everything that approaches. There's a difference. Defense is exhausting. Awareness is sustainable. Set up observation points at windows and stairwells. Identify approach routes to your position. Create a mental map of every sound, every entry point, every potential vector of contact. Third, you make a 72-hour plan. Not a forever plan, just 72 hours. Because the first 72 hours of any collapse scenario is when the most dangerous and most predictable behavior happens. After 72 hours, the environment stabilizes into a new pattern, whatever that pattern is. Your only job is to be alive, positioned, and resourced when that new pattern emerges. The human variable. I have to talk about this because every tactical plan eventually runs into the most unpredictable element in any survival scenario. Other people. Not enemies, not threats, just other people who are scared and making decisions based on fear rather than logic. Here's what you need to understand about human behavior in collapse. People are not primarily dangerous, they are primarily desperate. And desperate people make offers before they make threats. They ask before they take. They look for cooperation before they look for conflict. This is your second strategic advantage. You are positioned, you have resources, you have information, you have calm. That makes you valuable to other survivors in a way that most people in this space never acknowledge. The lone wolf fantasy kills people, not because it's morally wrong, but because it's operationally inefficient. You cannot watch all entry points simultaneously. You cannot sleep and maintain perimeter awareness at the same time. You cannot be sick and functional at the same time. You need allies. And the best time to recruit allies is in that silence window after the first wave of panic, when people are looking for someone who looks like they know what they're doing. That person is you. Be selective. Assess skills before you assess loyalty. A person with medical training is worth more than a person with weapons in the first month. A person with agricultural knowledge is worth more than a person with aggression in month 3. Build a team based on capability gaps, not on emotion. The long game. Everything I've described so far is about surviving the first phase, the acute collapse. The 60 minutes to 72-hour window when everything is chaotic and unpredictable. But here's what separates the people who survive a crisis from the people who build something after one. Thinking past the emergency. The locations I've described to you are not just survival positions, they are operational foundations. The brewery doesn't just keep you alive, it gives you production capability, trade goods, political leverage. The university building doesn't just give you high ground, it gives you communication infrastructure, knowledge resources, scientific equipment. The storage facility doesn't just give you a defensible position, it gives you space, compartmentalization, a structure you can expand and develop. You are not squatting in an abandoned building. You are establishing the first node of a new operational network. That mindset shift is everything. Because when the dust settles, and it always settles, the people who position themselves strategically in the first 60 minutes will have a 72-hour head start on everyone who panicked and ran. That head start compounds. Resources, allies, information, infrastructure, all of it compounds. While others are starting from zero in week 2, you're already running a functioning operation. What you do right now, not when it happens, now. Open your Maps application and find every multi-story storage facility within 5 miles of your home. Mark them. Find every craft brewery or distillery. Mark them. Find the highest elevation structures in your area, university buildings, observation towers, industrial facilities on high ground. Mark them. Drive those routes, not in your head, physically drive them. Know which roads are wide enough for traffic jams and which ones aren't. Know which routes stay clear because they lead nowhere obvious. Time your 60-minute sequence from your front door. How long does it take you to pack your bag? How long to reach your primary position? How long to secure basic entry points once you're inside? Run the numbers before you need them. Because the only difference between the person who positions successfully and the person who gets trapped in traffic is a decision that was made long before the crisis started. That decision is made right now, in this moment, before the alert, before the alarm, before the neighbor's car starts at 2 a.m. You already know where to go. The only question is whether you'll remember when it matters most. If this gave you something most survival content doesn't, you know what to do. The algorithm rewards what you tell it matters. And if you haven't mapped your city yet, close this video and start. Because the 60-minute clock doesn't wait for a convenient time to start.
So if you liked this video, please like, share and subscribe.